share, but I want to take a question right here from Annika.
Okay.
How to come to a healthy compromise in a relationship? How would you answer that?
How to come to a healthy compromise? I'm curious what's bringing on that question. Because I don't have context, I'm not really sure where she's going with it, but I would say that if there are differences,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've really learned from you,
Yeah,
is, and I know you teach this a lot in coaching and whatnot.
Yeah.
By the way, I was going to call him for a coaching session.
Really quickly then. If you'd like to schedule a discovery call with me, there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. Thank you for that vote of confidence.
And we return from our
Okay.
30-second commercial. But that you are, how do I say this? I find that your ability for both gratitude and, more importantly, acceptance
Okay.
is vast.
Hmm.
And I think that if a lot of people came from both of those places,
Yeah.
that you would find healthy compromise. Like being grateful for even the things that, maybe tick you off, right? But
Yeah.
What's that poppy seed story?
Oh, Ariel Ford talks about in her book called Wabi Sabi Love, where there's this couple who's been married for 25 years. The husband every Sunday goes to the bakery, gets himself poppy seed bagels and cream cheese and lox or whatever. And when he makes the bagels in the morning, poppy seeds are all over the kitchen counter and he doesn't clean them up. And she's for years starts saying, could you please clean it up? Could you please clean it up? And they get in the grout and that sort of thing. And then one day, maybe a decade into their marriage or 2 decades in, she asked herself the question, what would it be like if there were no poppy seeds on the kitchen counter? Meaning he isn't there. So the poppy seeds represent, even though it's something that annoys her,
so
it
she's
represents.
Grateful for him being there.
She's grateful for him being there.
Right.
And so
acceptance had to come into the mix.
So do you remember the post I did on Facebook the other day?
Yeah.
So it talked about differences, Annika. So it's my turn to answer the question. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I recognize that in couples, we all have differences. In many cases, it could be hundreds of differences. We are learning more about that each day that we're in relationship, that we're now living together. And something I've been talking about in a book, that my next book, if I get to it, is what I call the love scale. And the love scale is the recognition that we all have differences. So it starts here on the bottom of the scale. We have differences. And the first response within a difference could be, not always, we either reject or resist the difference. We reject or resist the difference. Now, when someone's in rejection or resistance, the other person is like, well, you should compromise for me, coming back to her point about compromise. Well, that's not love, in my opinion, in that particular case, if you're rejecting or resisting it. And there's nothing wrong with a person. You use vinegar to clean the damn.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to catch flack for this. She has a stainless steel. Is it stainless steel? You have a steel pan. And I'm like, can we just get a fucking Brillo pad to clean this sucker? And she is just losing her.
I'm like, start Brillo Gate now.
Yeah, I am going to be banished from the kitchen, for wanting to use that. And she's like, use elbow grease. But my point is, that's just how I operate. That's how I operate. I'm not, and so we might, and you would reject and resist that. Okay. But this is about differences, right? So the next level of a difference is to tolerate that difference, to tolerate. But here's the problem with toleration. We oftentimes build resentment when we tolerate something. So because this is about compromise, this is about recognizing differences. Well, the next layer, if we go up the ladder of love, the scale of love is understanding. Okay, there's a reason why Paula uses vinegar. There's a reason why she doesn't use a Brillo pad.
Mhm.
And when I begin to understand the why behind it, you don't like chemicals, you don't like the destructive nature of a Brillo pad. Okay, now I'm coming from a place of understanding. And usually at a place of understanding is where we might make a compromise, might say, okay, I understand it's not the way I want to do it, but I'm okay with it. But if we go the next level of love, is acceptance, what you talked about. I accept that that's the way you want to do things, just like in my last relationship that I had her order of doing the things around the kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm now accepting of it. Well, now let's go even a higher level of love, appreciating the difference, appreciating the difference.
Can you appreciate vinegar?
I can appreciate, I actually, I'm still in under acceptance.
It took 200 comments
to appreciate it. Yeah, exactly.
250.
But okay, let me say the last level, and then we'll come back. That the last level, or at least this part of my book, is you adore the difference. Okay. Maybe I don't adore that, but I adore a lot of cute things that you do different than me.
Right.
And my point is, and I hope, Annika, in answering the question, you can see that when we look at love, because what you're at is what your question is about, we have a difference. And we have this innate expectation. You're supposed to compromise for me. That's not love. Love, and our first reaction is a fair reaction to reject or resist it. The next reaction might be to tolerate. That's a fair reaction too. But getting to a place of understanding, getting to a place of acceptance, getting to a place of appreciation, and finally adoring our unique differences is the truest sense of love, in my book, when it comes to differences. So I hope that answered your question, Annika. I think that was a great question. Okay. Let's keep going here. Oh, Sandra just wants to point out, absolutely, you're not dismissive or abusive, because she would not be with you if you were. I think you two are just great. I love your sense of humor. I love your banter. Just keep being yourselves. Again, this comes back to that point of interruption, the way we communicate. I think when you're being recorded online, folks, there's a different energy than the way we are in person, although I think we're exactly the same, because I jokingly say all the time, I wish people were the fly on the wall of our conversations. But my point is it comes back to what you said. If somebody feels dismissed emotionally, they're not going to want to be with you. And I'm assuming you don't want to be with someone who is that way. We're here to encourage or even role model what healthy banter looks like between people. At least that's the way we feel about it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Angela has a question. How and when do you ask deep questions about Jonathan's family, Paula? Ooh.
How and when did I ask?
Oh, did you? Excuse me. Let me correct that.
How and when did I ask deep questions? Gosh. Right away, Angela. Right away. Seriously. We were on a phone call. And when did we no, that was the coffee date. The coffee date, you shared with me about Connor, and I shared with you about somebody who died that was close to me. And I don't know if I normally would have done that on a first coffee meet sort of date. But we went very deep in there. Very quickly.
Yeah, I remember, I think we gave the lowdown, well, first off, Paula, I think we both asked each other how many kids, do you have kids? How many kids you have? I began a habit of saying I have two children, one who lives around the corner from me and one that lives in heaven.
Yeah.
And I do that kind of as a gentle icebreaker, because I know talking about when it comes to talking about losing a child, it can be a very emotional conversation. Quite frankly, for the other person, not me. I'm in a good place with it. So I'm a little bit prepared for that. But I think how we try, it was a little bit here, a little bit there. I think but
I go deep fast. I mean, that is, I'm just like, no matter who it is, even if it's a gal to gal, and we're in an event or something, I'm in there with the questions
Yeah.
all the time. Kind of like, I'm a believer in going deep. So,
We're getting a lot of love right now. So let's see what other questions we have coming through. Question for Paula. How did you react to Jonathan's?
don't have it.
Oh,
So
all
it's a
right. Well, we'll
baby.
come
We
back
lost
to
it.
that. Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, it's the next one.
Is it?
Wait, how did you react?
Oh.
Keep going down? I thought
Oh,
I
that's
saw
as
it.
far as down.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Here's one from Barbara. What stood out to you on each other's dating profiles? Ooh, that's a good question.
What stood out for you on mine?
Wait, you're the one who wrote me first. Why don't you answer that question? Okay, I'll answer first. Paula, I think what stood out for me that, you checked a few boxes like spirituality, spiritual but not religious, a few things that you wrote, which I don't particularly remember right now. But I think it was you have a sparkle, you have an energy about you that's the way everybody's noticing it. You're super cute. By the way, those are your words.
High up on the cute
high
scale.
end on the cute scale. So I thought she was cute, but more importantly, it was like, I'm not a fan of the plasticky women in the world today. You had that Marianne feel about you from Gilligan's Island. So that's why I think
for me,
that profile, the profile.
For me, I saw your smiling eyes.
What's smiling eyes?
Smiling eyes is there's something even in a picture you can see that is it's smiling from the inside. I don't know how to really say it, but you can tell like when someone's just smiling for the camera versus like they really have joy inside. And I got from you that you had joy inside.
So
and the books intrigued me.
Oh, that's right. You brought up so in my dating profile, you see the books behind me? I took a photograph of like the books behind me and I turned it on its side so you could actually read it. I do that because it's showing a level of depth, like.
And I'm a bit of a sapiosexual. So for me, I love, highly intelligent men who, read.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think initially dating profiles, it's interesting. I want to touch upon these smiling eyes. Smiling eyes?
Smiling eyes, yeah.
I've shown Paula some profiles of some of my clients and the men, and I've got permission from my clients to show these pictures of men that they might be dating.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get your take from another woman's point of view, visually looking at it. And I do believe that what do they say? Picture is 1,000 words.
Yeah.
I believe that there is an energy that a person is portraying in their pictures. And this requires going deeper than the surface and actually looking at the photograph from that vantage point of whether it's smiling, whatever turns you on. I mean, that might not be your jam, but for Paula, that was her jam. And I think the eyes are the windows to the soul.
Absolutely.
And dating profile, I can tell you as a dating coach, folks, I look at hundreds of men and women's profiles, and I would say 97% of them, men and women, are so poorly done when it comes to the photographs that a lot of times people are trying to fill in the blanks of what they think they see. And a lot of good people are missed out because they did poor quality photographs. They, had pictures of 12 friends and you could barely see the person. All of these things are representations of yourself. And I'm telling you, as a person who does this for a living, 97% of men and women's profiles are poorly done.
So I have a question. Can I bounce off that?
Sure.
Because you've said this about my profile. He did not like my pictures, by the way.
No, I liked your pictures.
You thought that
I thought
there was
some graininess to a few of them.
One of the things you said about, because I had like 2 or 3 of maybe 5 or 6 pictures that included other people.
Yeah.
And so to me, I think that that's showing, camaraderie you're in, with your cool friends, that kind of thing. Why is that a deterrent, do you think?
So here's the bottom line. Okay. And it's, I read between the lines in your profile because there was something within your profile that captivated me. So,
Right.
and I looked at those other things and again, they were like, I don't want to say they were an ick, but I'm like, you could do better.
Right.
Was my
Okay.
point. Everybody will say, oh, just show you have friends. Okay. Well, here's the bottom line. I see profiles with 10 people in them and I can barely see the person. Okay, it's great that you have friends, but you know what? I assume everybody has friends. Okay. You don't need to plaster them on the dating profiles. I know other people will tell you that 6 quality photographs of yourself, headshots and body shots, are all that you need. That's
What
it.
if all your body shots with friends though?
Then go out. Here's the thing. My camera takes quality photographs. You hand it to a friend and say, take 10 body shots of me. I'm going to pick the best one.
Okay, so you're really stuck on this. Don't put
I
a
am
friend in.
very stuck on this because
Okay.
here's the thing. You're
I've heard
only,
it.
I'm again, it's not, I have to show that I have friends. You can show energy just through yourself. I have a photograph where I'm in that yoga outfit and I'm doing this,
Right.
that's how you can show your energy. But the more what happens is, well, I'm going to tell you what happens to a lot of guys. They see a picture of your girlfriend, like, hey, how do I get a date with her? Why put your competition out there? That's my belief system. Some other
Hey,
coach,
you've heard it
other
from the dating
coaches,
coach.
other
There you
coaches
go.
disagree.
Okay.
Other coaches agree that, you do what's right for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Annika's back in the house. Question. My follow-up. He wants children and I'm open to adoption, but not physical kids. How to bridge this? What advice would you give us?
What do you
Go
got?
ahead. Well, I think I'd be in the inquiry of why don't you want to have kids? So I would hope for him, he's in the inquiry of why. I think most people, when they think of children, they think of their own biological children. I would say probably 99% of people think that way.
Right.
Right. So let's just assume most people think that way. So I would be in the inquiry with you as to why that is. And maybe there's a biological, reason. Maybe there's a reason that.
Wait, can you show the question one more time?
Sure. I'm open to adoption, but
wants-
not physical kids. He wants children. I'm open to adoption. How to bridge this? What advice would you give us? Well, I think it's important to understand the why, right?
Does he want children with you? It sounds like that.
Well, let's just say he wants children and she
Mhm.
says, I'm open to adoption, but I don't want to have my own children.
Yeah.
I would hope he's curious to find out why that is the case for you,
Oh, I'm sure.
right?
I'm sure it is.
Okay. So she says, how do we bridge this? What advice would you give us? Well, it sounds like you've already discussed it. So I'm not an expert when it comes to things like adoption or just starting a family. That's not my area of expertise.
Okay. So this, may come under the things that we've been talking about in terms of differences, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you think about it, where is the tolerance level for both of you? Right? Where is the acceptance level for both of you?
Where's the understanding?
Where's the understanding level for both of you? And at what point in all of that can you get to the point where it's actually like able for a decision to be made? Because it sounds like you're in the throes of making a decision.
So this is, Annika, just on first blush, this is one of those potentially deal breaker kind of questions too. The response to this, because if, let's say, having a biological child for him is very important to him, and that's, and you have your reasons for why you'd rather adopt, and that's not some road he wants to go. This is one of those serious questions where it makes sense getting deeper on this, because there's really don't pass go, don't go to, the next stage if the two of you. So, I mean, this is a perfect example of a deep question. And by the way, could you imagine you've been dating for 2 months, you've slept together, and now all of a sudden this is the question? Like,
go deep fast.
Yeah, like this would be like maybe the question you have on the telephone, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why people, no, we should fucking be asking our deal breaker type of questions early on, Why go on a date with someone
So you feel 45 minutes into like, hi, what's your name?
if marriage
do you
and
want,
or
do you want
children,
adopted kids?
if marriage and or children are your highest need in a relationship, then what's the point of going on a date just to find out that you're misaligned?
So this is where the striking of the balance comes into play.
Okay.
Don't you think? If you
Yeah.
think about it, like, at what point do you ask the tough questions,
Yeah.
but be able to strike the balance of we're just going on a date and going to go try and have some fun together and see how that works out. Like,
So wait. So the other person is the agency for my fun?
No, together.
Well, wait a minute. Okay, hear me out for a second. For those ladies who want to get married, you're 27 years old and you want to get married, and the guy never wants to get married, never wants children. Would you really want to go on this date with this person?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so this is along that
Okay.
same lines. This is one of those, hey, it's a must have. Why meet somebody on a date just so you can have a good time, get out of the house, relieve loneliness, all that bullshit?
Right.
Excuse me.
And are you going to ask them on the first, hour of conversation, do you want kids?
I think it should be asked before you
okay.
meet. By the way, I'm a big proponent. I mean, again, this is where my coaching might differ from your perception here. I think we're going on a date with somebody because if you're going out just to have a good time, then let's be clear about this. Hey, I'm just only going out to have a good time. Now, I don't want to be the responsibility of someone else's good time.
Okay.
Okay. I have a serious, and by the way, I have a serious desire, a long-term partnership. That's why I'm dating. If I want to have a good time, I'll call up my friend Jeff. I'll call up my friend Tammy. I'll go call up friends to have a good time.
Right.
Okay. I have plenty of friends I can have a good time with. I'm going on a date with somebody to determine if this is a potential life partner.
Okay. And we're assuming that most of the people that are listening are doing the same.
Yes. So why do humans cavalierly approach this, naively approach this, and approach it with ambiguity, only to find out weeks, months later, how many people have gone on dates only to find out you slept with the guy and you guys are so misaligned? And I say guys, I mean men and women alike.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more militant about this.
I'm going
for a reason.
Here. You can do the I am right dance.
Okay.
Stick the finger out.
I'm right. Okay, so you wait. Just so I'm clear, look in the camera and say, I agree with Jonathan.
I agree with Jonathan.
Okay.
He is right. No, and this is why I think you're a freaking amazing coach, because you go in there and dig in to find out people's intentions.
Yes.
And I'm a big proponent of living a very intentional life. So
Okay.
I agree with you on this. I just think that you still need to find that balance. I think there's a rhythm and a cadence.
So
otherwise it sounds like an interview.
It's so fucking what? Okay. I know it sounds like an interview. So fucking what? Please forgive me, folks, but here's my point. If you haven't already realized, human beings, if you haven't realized, dating is radically dysfunctional. It has been dysfunctional for probably the better part of the last decade or two. Before we had these little devices in our lives, dating had a whole different cadence to it, had a whole different rhythm. But quite frankly, 50 or 60 years ago, women, up until about 50 or 60 years ago, women were dependent upon men for survival. And thank God that has changed. And with the advent of birth control, our world has changed. And what happens is, for the last 50 years, there's a naivety. Well, by the way, if you I did it again. Naivete, excuse me. There's an ambiguousness. There is a lack of intentionality. I am militant about this because why waste time with somebody? And you can rationalize it. Well, I just want to have a good time. I'd rather have a good time hanging out with my son, hanging out with my dearest friends in my life. I'd rather even go and do a meetup group to be with people, but I'm not going on a date just to relieve boredom or to have a good time. That's not the way I operate, and my invitation for everybody else is the same. Can we put a bow on this?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see how other people. Jonathan looks like he's sweating with passion in what he's saying. Am I sweating? Okay. Some people say stop cursing. Okay. And by the way, Angela points out some people never know their partner at all. You know, that's the truth. You know, people could be dating. I've known people 6 months, a year, and still have no clue who the person is with. And what I'm here to promote through my private coaching, through my YouTube channel, is discernment. What is discernment? It's trying to figure out who this person is across from me. And the better tools we have, the better on a psychological level, the better chance we have for relationship success. That's my premise. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Trista says, I'm not sure people know their intentions and may be scared to bring them up. Oh my God, she is so dead on.
Jeez.
I mean, folks. Okay, can I take the floor for
Go
a second?
for it.
I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of prospective clients. Women come to me all the time. Jonathan, I know what I want. I know what I want. I know what I want in a relationship. And I'm intentionally being, what's the word I'm being right now? Exaggerated. And the reason why I know this is women who go through my proprietary coaching program. Do you know what they say every single time they've done this boot camp I have for 8 to 12 weeks? They go, wow, why didn't my parents teach me this? Why didn't I learn this in school? Why didn't I learn this before I dated and married the wrong guy? I am telling you, the average person, men and women alike, operate from a very clueless, unintentional level. Even though they say they want a relationship, even that word is ambiguous to most human beings. And I'm here to promote a more conscious, intentional way of approaching this. Okay.